Welcome at Smile. I'm far from smiley. I've been processing some very serious things. My life has been far from what people may perceive. My mother agreed to take care of my child due to my poor decisions that at that time I believed were the best. Working in the medical field as a single mother, you work 12-hour shifts or 16-hour shifts. That is neglect, to be away from your child more than half of the day. And at his age at that time, my son couldn't be alone. So the healthy alternative for me was my mother. I didn't take into account that my parents were older. I thought that because they were older and they felt guilt and remorse for the neglect and the abuse that I was put through, that my child would receive better. My mother was retired at the time. She could give him time and attention. My son has come to tell me things like, Grandma used to play this game. Let's see how long you can be quiet. He then told me that when he was 10 years old, he caught on. They just wanted him to shut up. When a child notices that, recognizes that, begins to isolate, neglect is a form of abuse, just as bad, if not worse, as physical trauma. I tell my son how important he is to me, all that he matters to me, how God doesn't create garbage accidents, that he was not an accident, that he was brought from love into life. My parents never attended a field trip. They didn't attend my 8th grade graduation, let alone high school. I didn't finish my GED. When my father, heard of my business, Welcome and Smile, the retail store, they asked me why I was wasting money. You would think that your daughter being in the medical profession, being kidnapped, no longer able to work her field due to trauma, shaking, real life shit. I opened a retail store to be an entrepreneur because it is part of my passion, not only to live and smile, the energy, but to create and share them with others. You know, look good, feel good, right? You go to church, according to, right? You never wore, bought, promoted, told a friend, look at my daughter's store, look at what she's doing now. There was no sense of pride in me. But I'm supposed to feel loved and supported. My son saw that and heard that. So now, after a year of not only homelessness, but as I was homeless, I maintained my store open to the public. And I didn't make a profit margin. So I've had to close my store. This is the second time that I attempt a sole proprietorship that doesn't get off the ground. But my so-called relatives, that when my mother came to drop off my child, said, oh, you know such and such, she asked about you and said to tell you that she loves you. Bullshit. I got a YouTube channel, nobody leaves a comment. I got a CASHApp, nobody drops a dime. I got business, nobody supports. But y'all love me. As I say, love is an action in the details. My son, when I tell him I love him, I ask him, do you feel it? Not yet. The other day he said, yeah, Mommy, I know you love me. But I want him to feel the love I have for him. I've been sharing, writing, assisting my son to heal as best I know how, as I have healed from the neglect and the lies. My people, those that tune in to tune up, children, little people have independent thought, soul, spirit, joy. But when it is silenced, shunned, denied, and then spoken ill of the source of life, your mother, father, the child is then withdrawn into self, questioning. My son now has a difficult time identifying his emotions other than anger. When he does things, his eyes, one, tell you where he is. He's not present. And when he is, let's just say that if I thought that I was doing the right thing, I know now that I did it. Foolish of me to believe. If they couldn't pay attention to me, if they neglected me, physically, sexually, verbally abused me,